Some of the trends having the biggest impact on data and information management solutions, as I see it, if you divide them into information risk and information opportunities. On the information risk side are the regulatory environments. In the US, Dodd-Frank is causing quite a stir. But also we see tightening regulatory environments everywhere, whether it be in countries like Switzerland, but also in some of the other parts of the EU, but also in the BRIC countries, which is not somewhere we necessarily expected it to happen. Also in the risk side is simply data growth. The growth of data, which is running in parallel with the growth of storage, is not tenable long term. And this is due in part to the inability for organizations to defensively delete information. And until they can do that, that data growth will continue to run in parallel. If you look on the opportunity side of information management, we think customer interaction and the leverage of customer information in new ways is a major opportunity that a lot of organizations are exploring. I think information and data management projects are moving towards becoming more of a business process, but realistically at the moment I think they're still more IT driven. That's because a lot of them are focused on how to manage data growth and with it storage growth. And that tends to be an IT problem because they tend to be the purchasing party in these situations. You have other issues such as compliance, which is seen as a security problem, and that is trending definitely towards becoming a business issue. Because of that mainly tactical approach, a lot of organizations tend to look to use what they already have rather than buy wholesale new solutions from scratch. One thing we think may change that is in tightening regulatory environment, which heightens awareness of the problems of information management at the C level, and then it makes it much more strategic issue for the whole company. The fact that these information management processes are often driven by IT means they're often seen as very tactical, using existing solutions in-house assembled in a piecemeal fashion. However, we think that one of the things that might change this is the tightening regulatory environment, which may elevate these currently tactical approaches to be seen as much more strategic approaches, and that will change the nature of information and data management going forward. Social media and social networks impact on the management of customer data in a fairly fundamental way. The way we see it, it almost inverts the relationship between the customer and the organization providing the product or the service. So for instance, in the past, when a customer had a complaint or even a compliment about an issue, they would get in touch with a call center and voice their opinion that way. These days, they're much more likely, rather than do that, to go and put it on Facebook, on Twitter, on other social networks, or write a review on Amazon or some other website like that, way before they ever get to complaining directly to the company. And the reason it inverts that, if this person has sufficient clout in social networks, for instance, often the organization has to get in touch with them to solve their problem rather than them getting in touch with the organization to solve the problem. Some of the other emerging trends in information management that CIOs should watch for include a couple of things. One is what we like to kind of call a governance family reunion. We're talking here about the convergence gradually of information governance, data governance, and governance, risk and compliance. And this manifests itself as an approach where all these teams get together in an organization to use similar kind of data classification schemes and then policy engines to drive their policies, whether that policy be a storage-related one, whether it be a legal-related one, or a security-related one. That's something that's going to happen. We think it's going to happen gradually, maybe not in 2011, but 2012, 13, 14, and onwards. Another big trend we see is what many people refer to as big data, but we prefer the notion of total data. And the notion of total data is not just treating the large data sets, but treating all data sets as important with an organization, and all of them as useful for the basis of analytics. It also looks at data sets beyond the relational database, and also looks at data sets beyond data warehouses. And this is where technologies like Hadoop come in, for instance. I'm looking forward to attending and speaking at the Exchange for a couple of reasons. One is I like to find out some of the newer technologies that are on offer out there. And the other is to hear from the opinion of the end users. After all, they're the people at the sharp end, they're the people who have to implement this stuff. And it'd be good to see if they think the newer technologies are ready or if they need more work. And they also may indicate some of the areas that the vendors need to look at in terms of future trends.